Hello, this is me, Nuclear Abominations, and as you can see, today I'm going to make a couple of changes to the natural layout and general setup of the videos that I've followed so far. First and foremost, this is not a very old record. Like I said, this channel, as you want to call it, is about old school death metal, which does not necessarily mean that I'm going just to review records that have been released in 1990 or 1990 up to 1993. That's basically the real first wave of that kind of sounding old school sounding death metal. And in particular, this 7-inch by the band Charon from Germany. There was another band called Charon with actually played heavy metal, but that's definitely not the same band. This is a German band, like I said before, and it was released in 2004, and it was released on this label called Sepulchral Voice. It's the first release by Sepulchral Voice, and this band actually already released two tapes, which could be considered demos since they were self-released in 1998, 1999. But this is the first real release that they put on a real label like Sepulchral Voice. It's limited on 500 copies, and the vocals on this 7-inch is by this guy called Forgas. Luckily, it took a couple of years for the band to find another lineup, but they got a guy from Impending Doom, and that guy really know how to sing, and they finally got a real singer, because the vocals on the 7-inch are really disastrous. What I really liked about the 7-inch, however, is the general layout. This is one of the first of the new wave of old school death metal. We can use that kind of label releases. As you can see already, the layout tells you something, and there's the second envelope inside, which basically is exactly the same as the outer envelope, but the difference is that well, here you can see it's standard black regular black vinyl, but let me see if I can find it. It's probably still inside. Yes, it's still inside. I separated it from the vinyl because there's an insert on the 7-inch that has been burned all around, and that's the small piece that you found inside. It's smeared with blood, and well, that's basically contain everything that a death metal 7-inch should have. I mean, look at the layout, look at the artwork. I mean, this is, from the aesthetic of this release, is absolutely perfect. Sound-wise, like I anticipated before, I really don't like the vocals on the 7-inch, but it's something that they fixed already in the following release. That was a split 7-inch with the band Hatespawn, which is basically the same singer, Deathmonger, and if you manage to find, which is actually not even much expensive, but if you manage to find full length that they released in 2012, Sulfur Seraph, well, that release is absolutely amazing. It's a really great album. Get that one. This 7-inch I can't recommend so much as that full length. That full length is absolutely killer, but is nonetheless very interesting, because the sound on this 7-inch is absolutely abrasive. Not only the sound is so rough, is so raw demo sounding, but maybe the sound is a little bit too thin, but that's maybe because they still had some black metal influences at the time. But the sound was absolutely savage, was very raw, and there was already something going on, and you can really feel and hear it on that release. Um, like I said, this is one of the first uh, releases of the new school that ended up with famous label, or at least labels that have become famous in the last 10 years, or well, more than famous, I'd say popular maybe. And of course I'm referring to Dark Descent, Memento Mori, Saponoho, and so on. And I'm trying to separate the vinyl from this, because I have already found pieces of burnt paper on the vinyl, which is not so great, I guess, for the the vinyl itself. And the band has always stayed on Sepulchral voice for all of its life. There's probably some kind of connection, but maybe they just found the mindset of the label owner on their own wavelength. And well, there's really not much more to say. It is really interesting 7-inch in my opinion. It's probably still very cheap to buy even today, and it's one of those records that just float among collections and shelves of distros without really being properly discussed. Sometimes I just feel like taking some release that is not very old, not very cult, and give it some attention. And this is probably one of the best 7-inch that you can hear from that year it was released, and that was 12 years ago in 2004. It sounds so strange for me to say that 2004 was 12 years ago, but I guess time flows for everybody, and we are getting closer to die and rot in hell like it should be. That's all for now. Enjoy the new special effects, and I finally added a tinge of color to this video. I started to understand something of video editing. I no longer work only on my smartphone, and hopefully you can get better videos in the future. I will probably get better with my spoken English over time, because it's really terrible. I'm not able to express myself the way I want, but not a lot more to add here. This was Charon or Charon. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but I guess it's Charon. And good stuff. Look for this one, and I highly recommend the full length. It was released both on CD and vinyl, so get the format that you prefer. This 7-inch is good. The full length that was released in 2012 is much better. So see you next time with a new installment, Gore and Satan for everybody.